I think everybody is ready to begin. We have our guests of honor up here, so yay. So this has been a pretty quiet crowd so far for like a Friday, so as this goes on, feel free to make it loud and emotional and lots of hand clapping and cheering. Dr. Magruder and Sue wanted me to make sure that if you were in line when he got called away to do the interview, they still want to say hi to you. If you were coming in on my side, the B side over here, and you got to see me, they'll still be around afterwards for you to say hello to and meet. What an honor today. It seems like we just did this last week in Arizona. It feels a little bit like Groundhog Day. We had a wonderful reception last week with several hundred people in attendance, faculty, staff, students, community members. We honored Dr. And Sue Magruder on our Arizona campus, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. So we'll see how things go today. I will say the food here is much better. Very exciting. So we want to acknowledge some people that are here, and I understand you're having a big family reunion here with over 30 people coming to town. So I would like the extended Magruder family to please stand up, and let's give you a hand for coming in today. And thank you for sharing him with us the last 4 years, especially, grandchildren. I know you had great-grandchildren. You had a grandson, I think, that served in Iraq. And, while you were busy taking care of things on our campus, we know that you did miss some family things, and we do appreciate that. Thank you for lending him to us. And Sue, they will make a big difference in the future of America's healthcare, so we want to thank you. We also have a few guests. I saw two of our board members, maybe the third one may be here, and we'll introduce all of our board members. And a former board member, I'll start with Mr. Pete Detweiler. Pete, if you want to raise your hand, thank you for your time at ATSU. Any other former board members? Any other former board members? Okay, we weren't sure, we sent out, but weren't sure who came and didn't come. From our current board, we have Dr. Clyde Evans, Dr. Cynthia Byler, Dr. and Mrs. Carl Bynum, Dr. and Mrs. Stanley Grogg, and Mr. and Mrs. Ron Winkler. If you'll raise your hand, we want to thank you for your service in attending. And I think I saw the mayor of Kirksville earlier. Are you here? Raise your hand. Yes, thank you. Yay. Mr. Richard Detweiler, thank you for coming. You'll be meeting some other very, very important people as we go through this ceremony. My name's Craig Phelps. I'm the other half of the front of the magazine. And it's an honor to follow in Dr. Magruder's footsteps. And I think the thing I've heard the most the last 2 weeks is good luck with following such a hero and such a giant. So, we'll see how all that works out. But you prepared me well, and you've worked with me well the last several months in transition and been a great mentor over the last 4 years. So thank you so much. So let's talk a little bit about Dr. Magruder. Dr. Jack Magruder was born August 7, 1935 in rural Lintner, Missouri, located in Shelby County. He and his family moved to Kirksville in 1943. Dr. Magruder attended Northeast Missouri State Teachers College, now Truman State University, and graduated with a bachelor's degree in chemistry and mathematics. He holds a master's degree in chemistry and science education from the University of Northern Iowa, and he received his doctorate in chemistry and science education from the University of Northern Colorado. He completed additional graduate work at Louisiana State University. Dr. Magruder is a 1992 graduate of the Harvard University Institute of Educational Management. He was honored in 1999 by the University of Northern Colorado as the recipient of the Administrative Achievement Award and was granted an honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters, from the Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine in 2002. Dr. Magruder was honored most recently as a 2007 honorary member of the KCM Alumni Association and as a 2009 inductee into the Missouri Academy of Squires, and in 2011, one of Ingram's 50 Missourians you should know. So you're all very lucky tonight. Dr. Magruder served as a member of the Board of Trustees for A.T. Still University prior to becoming president. In July 2010, he was honored with the American Osteopathic Association President's Citation for exemplary service to the profession. He served as Truman State University president for 9 years, during which he served as a member of the Board of Trustees for the Higher Learning Commission of the North Central Association, chair of the Missouri Coordinating Board for Higher Education Committee on Transfer and Articulation, president of the Council of Public Liberal Arts College, president of the Council on Public Higher Education for Missouri, and president of the Board of Directors of the Truman State University Foundation. Dr. Magruder was appointed in 2009 to the members of the Higher Education Loan Authority of the state of Missouri, known as MOHELA, representing the private sector, and appointed last year to the Missouri State Fair Foundation Board and Missouri State Fair Commission. I know something that he has a great passion for, and has invited my wife, Stacy, who is here tonight, and our son, Zach, to come to the festivities this year, so I know that's a very deep passion for you. Dr. Magruder is past chair of the Blue Ribbon Panel for Accountability, Credibility, and Efficiency for the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, and served as a member of the Community Advisory Committee to the Missouri Foundation for Health. Now the important part. Dr. Magruder is married to Sue Brimmer Magruder, who is a graduate, both of BS and MA, of Truman State University. She met Dr. Magruder on the campus on June 4th, 1954. If I remember, it was the first day of class. Is that correct? That's pretty impressive. The Magruders have 3 children, 7 grandchildren. I believe that's correct. Julie Magruder Lochbaum, Carrie Magruder, and Laura Magruder Mann, all of whom are Truman graduates, and they have 7 grandchildren. So this is just a wonderful day, and thank you for sharing again with us. So Dr. Magruder, you probably wonder what he's doing in all his spare time. He doesn't have enough boards to serve on, right? Things to do. Well, he's a pretty dynamic individual. His hobbies include raising and riding Missouri Foxtrotter horses, driving a team of halflingers, and I've been called worse, I want you to know that, traveling and camping. Mrs. Magruder enjoys traveling, reading, fishing, doing jigsaw puzzles, and the Magruders live on their 57-acre family farm located east of Kirksville. So, boy, I don't think you could find a more deserving couple to honor today, so it's truly a great time. And Dr. Magruder, as you know, has many, many extended family members, you out from the community and from both universities. I'd like the faculty, if you're Truman State faculty or have been Truman State faculty, please raise your hand. I know we've got quite a few. Thanks for all you do for this community. A.T. Still University, faculty and staff. A.T. Still University, faculty, staff, and administration. Yay. We have our 2 deans that are located based on this campus, Kimberly O'Reilly and Dr. Maggie Wilson. Dr. O'Reilly and Wilson, if you'll raise your hand. Very good. Thank you for being here. All right, now I know Doreen will be out there kind of directing me as I kind of move through some of these things. We have a video from the Honorable Governor Jeremiah J. Nixon. Let's take a look at that.
Friends, it's a pleasure to speak with you today as we pause to celebrate the career and accomplishments of an extraordinary Missourian, Dr. Jack Magruder. Jack, during your career, you've touched the lives of tens of thousands of Missourians. As a chemistry professor, administrator, and president of not one, but 2 outstanding universities. Your work was instrumental in designing and developing Truman State University, which has become one of the crown jewels of higher education in Missouri and throughout the Midwest. Your dedication to the liberal arts, to education, and to public service has made a real and lasting difference for Missouri. And today, as you retire as president of A.T. Still University, the people of Missouri join me in thanking you for a lifetime of service. Of course, anyone who knows Jack knows that his leadership wouldn't have been possible without his wonderful wife, Sue. It's fitting that Jack and Sue first met in a registration line at the university we now call Truman State. Sue, we also thank you for your service to public education, to Kirksville, and to Missouri. Jack and Sue, as governor and on behalf of all 6 million Missourians, we thank you for sharing your lives and careers with our state. And thank you for all you have done to transform education in Missouri. We live in a better state because of you. Thank you, and God bless.
Dr. Magruder, would you please come up here? As you know, there's been some wildfires in the state of Missouri, so Governor Nixon could not be here and his office could not be represented, but they did send a proclamation that I would like to read. So I'm not sure if I'll do it justice because I noticed it was Missouri. So if I make that mistake, let me know. This is from the Office of the Governor of the State of Missouri, a proclamation. Whereas Dr. Jack Magruder has distinguished himself as an educational and civic leader for more than 50 years in Kirksville in the state of Missouri, and whereas Dr. Magruder served Truman State University as a chemistry professor, student teacher supervisor, science dean, vice president for academic affairs, and university president, and whereas Dr. Jack Magruder has been instrumental as president of A.T. Still University in bringing the university and the city of Kirksville closely together with numerous local partners in education and business, and whereas Dr. Jack Magruder has led the successful effort to establish the Missouri School of Dentistry and Oral Health on the Kirksville campus of ATSU, which will bring great economic benefit to the Kirksville area and educate generations of future dentists and other professionals, and whereas Dr. Jack Magruder has given a lifetime of service to others, including leadership and volunteerism in Missouri State Fair Commission and Foundation boards, community advisory committees to the Missouri Foundation for Health, the Blue Ribbon Panel for Accountability, Credibility, and Efficiency for the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission, the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority, the Missouri Rural Biotech Commission, his church, and numerous other educational, government, and civic organizations. And whereas Dr. Jack Magruder is retiring from ATSU, having made a significant difference in the health of the university, and whereas Dr. Jack Magruder and his wife, Sue, have provided decades of leadership for the good of the people of Kirksville, our state, and our nation. Now, therefore, I, Jeremiah W. J. Nixon, Governor of the state of Missouri, do hereby recognize Dr. Jack Magruder for his more than 5 decades of professional and dedicated service to A.T. Still University, Truman State University, the city of Kirksville, and to the state of Missouri. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the great seal of the state of Missouri in the city of Jefferson, the 4th day of June 2012. Jeremiah W. Nixon, Governor and Secretary of State. Congratulations. Believe it or not, it actually gets better. That's very, very good. So Missouri, I had a little problem with my credit card. They noticed that I was out of an area that I usually charge things to, and I was talking to someone that I think probably might have been far from our borders, and she kept saying, sorry, and I kept saying, well, that's okay. And what I realized is she was saying, Missouri. So that was a new one. And my wife and I were on the phone going, well, don't have to be that sorry. And then I realized she was saying, Missouri. So wonderful. All right, City of Kirksville, Mayor Richard Detweiler has a presentation to make.
This is indeed a high honor for me. I get to do some things in this job that is unbelievably fantastic. And this is one of the best days and best occasions that I've ever been honored to. And I very and truly thank you for giving me this opportunity. They said to make sure I speak into the mic good. Whereas the City Council of the City of Kirksville, Missouri desires to recognize outstanding people of the Kirksville community, whereas Jack Magruder is retiring as president of A.T. Still University after serving 4 years and also serving as Truman State University's president for 9 years. And whereas Jack Magruder served on the members of the Higher Education Loan Authority of the state of Missouri, whereas Jack Magruder is a member of the Missouri State Fair Foundation Board and the Missouri State Fair Commission. And whereas Jack Magruder received the American Osteopathic Association's President's Citation for exemplary service to the profession. And whereas Jack Magruder was inducted into the Missouri Academy of Squires. And whereas Jack Magruder was named one of Ingram's 50 Missourians You Should Know. And whereas Jack Magruder was presented a King Foundation Education Hero Award by the American Red Cross. And whereas Jack Magruder was awarded a key to the city of Kirksville for his role in bringing ATSU's new dental school to town. And whereas Jack Magruder has continually fostered a high level of cooperation between ATSU and greater Kirksville community. And therefore I, Richard L. Detweiler, Mayor of the City of Kirksville, Missouri, do hereby extend appreciation to Jack Magruder for his many years of service to the Kirksville community, and hereby call upon all residents of the community to join in recognizing and honoring Jack Magruder upon his retirement of 4 years as president of A.T. Still University, signed by the mayor of this 29th day of June, 2012. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. Now you know why he's the mayor. He reads that a lot better than I do, the proclamation, so very good. You know, it's July 1 is a day that you officially get to take off. So until then, you're still on the clock. We're also honored that we have another ATSU contributor. Heinz, are you here? Heinz Wolf? Heinz back here will also be retiring. It was a package deal. I tried to talk Heinz into staying. I think I had several breakfasts at Rosie's. I finally gave up on Rosie's and went to Cafe 54. That didn't work. I'm not sure what else to do, but Heinz, you're going to be greatly missed. We appreciate all that you've done for communications and marketing, and you know, you've just been a great resource to the university. So Godspeed to you and your wife and family as you retire and get to do other great things. Thanks, Heinz. He's right back there, yeah. Thank you. All right. Mr. John Beakley, on the behalf of Secretary Carnahan from Missouri Secretary of State's office, Mr. John Beakley, who has a history of going back with the Magruder family and your family for many years, so.
Jack, why don't you come on up here? Good afternoon. Let me spend just a moment and let you all know how I met Dr. Magruder. I had the honor of serving during the Carnahan administration for 7 years and 9 months and 1 week as the governor's appointment secretary. And one of the most remarkable things about that experience, besides getting to know Mel Carnahan and working for him, was the remarkable people I got to meet. And one of those was Jack Magruder. So he and I worked very closely together on a number of projects, and so that's how we met, and I am here today representing Robin Carnahan. I now work for Mel's daughter, who's our Secretary of State, and she wasn't able to be here today, of which she wanted me to send you her regrets. But wanted me to let you know what a special person you are to her. And Senator Carnahan also sends you her regards. Now, before I get started, I have one other piece of business here. This is going to be a very different kind of statement than the very formal one that the governor produced. And obviously, he did a wonderful presentation today. But we thought, because we knew Jack, we could tease him just a little bit here. And we worked with a number of members of his staff on this project. And we asked them if we could give them a little credit. And they told us not before 5 o'clock. And so with that, here we go. Whereas Dr. Jack Magruder, president of A.T. Still University and former president of Truman State University, has for decades enjoyed a large staff to serve him virtually around the clock. And we all know, or at least some of us do, Jack considered running for public office, for statewide office. But he actually did some research, and he decided against it, because he found out how few state employees there were going to be to deploy on special projects. And of course, we're all sorry to see Jack go, but we all know his lovely wife, Sue, and her familiar and, the ultimatum, in effect, we're all familiar with, that she gave Jack, that he could be president of A.T. Still University, or he could be married to Sue. But he was no longer going to get away with doing both at the same time. And speaking of Sue, Jack, Sue has asked us to officially put you on notice. that now that you are finally retiring for the second time, that your delegating days are over. That you are not going to have any staff at home. And that you better get used to fending for yourself. Thank you for that contribution, Sue. While we all know how much Jack loves the state fair, we can now disclose Jack's primary motivation behind his many years of state fair board service. And that is to keep getting free tickets to the Rhonda Vincent concert. Whereas anyone who would go so far as to name their horse governor, just so he can claim that he is with the governor every time he takes his horse for a spin around the pasture. Well, you really should have run for public office, Jack. In all seriousness, Jack Magruder's skill as a leader and his elegance as a public administrator and manager are truly rare. He's made a positive difference in the lives of thousands of people over the course of a long and remarkably successful career in public service and education. It's no wonder my dad, Mel Carnahan, loved him. Now, therefore, I, John Beakley, on behalf of Robin Carnahan, Secretary of State of the state of Missouri, express a desire that Jack Magruder on this, the 29th day of June of 2012, should get what's coming to him, a long and wonderful retirement. Congratulations, Jack.
I promised you it'd continue to get better. That was pretty neat, wasn't it? Can I set this over here? Adam Bennett, if you'd like to come on up. I know I saw you out there a few minutes ago. Hey, Adam. So as you know, being a student at KCOM and our campus in Missouri is a great honor. We come to Kirksville as young people, and we're molded by our faculty and our staff and our administration, but we're also molded by our community. And when I came to this campus in 1980, the week my father passed away, I was greeted with open arms by this community as a student and had a wonderful time. Adam Bennett is one of our students from Arizona. He's in the Arizona School of Dentistry and Health class of 2014. And the reason why we exist is for our students, and our faculty and staff do such a wonderful job preparing our students for being healthcare leaders, young men and women who go out and make great change. And I can let you know that Adam is one of those. Adam is actually here. He had lunch with our chair of our board, who you'll meet in a moment, working on ideas for interprofessional education to provide better care for our patients. Adam has a few words he'd like to say. Thank you, Adam, sir.
First off, thank you. It's a great honor to be here to help celebrate and say my part for this amazing individual. My first interactions with Dr. Magruder actually occurred, I believe, my junior year at Truman. I was considering dentistry and looking at the school in Arizona, and in the midst of his hectic schedule, he made time for a lowly student to come in and sit down for a half hour and just talk about the school. That's the kind of man he has been, an inspiration to me. As I progressed through Truman, we got the idea that it would be neat to do something to say thank you, something to honor this man. I mean, he has a building, but we thought we could do more. So a group of 15 of us science students got together and founded what would become Mu Gamma Chi. It really stood for Magruder Gentlemen's Club, but we didn't know that was appropriate at the university level. So I have today a poem that was written by the osteopathic school in Arizona that I would like to share with you. Roses are red, the cacti and oats are green. This poem is for you from the class of 2015. As a group, we are fun and a little bit coy, so now everyone sit back and hopefully enjoy. Great leaders can make everyone play their part by treating people right with sincerity of heart. Decisions are made with the collective best in mind, and looking out for students can be hard to find. Dr. Magruder, you see us as who we can become, walking tall in the legacy and having pride in where we're from. Now, behind the great man, as he's doing his deals, is his amazing supportive wife, usually in a great pair of heels. Sue, we can't imagine the sacrifices made. You were much appreciated for our foundations laid. Okay now, Dr. Magruder, just because you're off the clock doesn't mean we don't expect to see you in 3 years when we walk. A legacy you started, your caring is just so loud. The class of 2015 will do our best to make you proud. Dr. Magruder and Sue, what else can we say? Enjoy your time together, and God bless you on your way. Thank you, and have a great day.
So I think when you have a tough day and you get home and you wonder, what's happening in the world, there's so much going on, and we hear some of the bad news on TV quite frequently and on the radio, you think of young people like Adam that are out there learning and are really wonderful students who are making a great difference. So Adam and any students that are here, do we have any KCOM, any ATSU students out in the audience? I know that they're on break right now, so got a few back there. Yay, thank you. Thank you for choosing ATSU. We really appreciate it. So how many have been students of Dr. Magruder's either at Truman State or former Northeast Missouri State or at ATSU? Raise your hands, please. Fantastic. Pretty amazing. It's hard to go anywhere in this town without bumping into somebody who has worked with you or has been taught by you. So that is fantastic. So we're very honored today to have our president of our Board of Trustees, Dr. Clyde Evans. Dr. Evans is a recognized leader in education. He's, like I said, the chair of our board, which is pretty amazing when you think about the diversity of our board with healthcare providers, with entrepreneurs, businessmen and businesswomen. And for him to take time to head up our Board of Trustees with his busy consulting, business, and education, and to come out here once again on a Friday right before a holiday weekend, we are honored to have Dr. Clyde Evans. Dr. Evans?
What a happy occasion this is today. I'm thrilled that I could be here, and I'm overjoyed that so many of Jack's family could be here. That's a wonderful gift for Jack. Thank you all for making the trip. I'm sorry to say, though, that I'm not prepared to give any remarks because I thought this was going to be a roast of Jack Magruder. Like you've seen on TV where you insult each other and tell dirty jokes. So I can't use any of the material I have prepared. So I'll have to wing it. And the hardest part about winging it is of all the many, many things I love to say about Jack, I have to pick only a couple. So I've picked 4 things that I'd like to say in honoring Jack today. First one is this: when the next history of A.T. Still University is written, February 14th, 2008 will be a red letter day. I'm sure many of you know that was the day on which we asked Jack to saddle up, come out of retirement, and lead our university. We were at a time of crisis. We needed a leader. And you know what Jack did when we asked him to do it? He took out his cell phone, left the room, and called Sue. And he didn't come back for 20 minutes. But he did accept, and we are indebted and grateful. When I think about that day, I remember the Israelites in the desert. Manna from heaven is what Jack was to this university. And I mean that in all sincerity. We needed a leader, and Jack was that leader for us. The second thing I like to say is, about a month ago, Jack and I talk every week. We have a regular scheduled meeting. About a month ago, we were sort of looking back over things, and Jack said, I know things are better now than they were when I took over. And that caught my mind. It's absolutely true, and it caught my attention. But one of the reasons it did, and I'm not sure, Jack, if I've ever told you this, probably the greatest lesson I ever learned in my life was taught to me by my grandmother. And she taught me to always try to leave the world a better place than you found it. Jack has left this university a better place than he found it. Thank you, Jack. Third thing I like to say is this. At the end of the Catholic Mass is a concluding prayer. There are actually several alternatives so the priest can pick one of them. But one of them describes, for me, Jack, in as good a terms as you will ever get. The prayer is this: go in peace, glorifying the Lord by your life. Go in peace, glorifying the Lord by your life. Jack, that's exactly what you have done all these years. And here's the final thing I'd like to say. Before I am doing my current work as a consultant, I spent about 10 years in Washington at the Association of Academic Health Centers. There are about 100 or so of these university-based centers around the country. And you get to know the presidents. A.T. Still is one of the members. And so I got to know presidents all over the country. And I learned an important lesson. Being a president is not a one-man job. It's a two-man job. And in ways that you may never see, plenty of the ways you do see, but in ways that you don't always see, it takes two people to do these jobs. So when I say Jack, in my mind, I always have a hyphenated Jack and Sue, Jack and Sue. So I'm grateful not only to Jack, but to Sue. And I'm hoping, Sue, before we end today, we might hear a few words from you also. I'd be very grateful for that. I considered it a wonderful, incredible gift to this university that Jack and Sue gave to us. 4 years out of what's called their golden years, they were willing to devote to the welfare of this institution. That's incredible, and we are indebted and grateful to you. The last task I have today is one where I will ask for some help. I would like for all the current board members present to come up and join me. Stan, Carl, Cynthia, Ron, Dorothy, would you all come up and join me here? Dorothy, is Carl present? Carl was our chair last year. I wanted the board members to be here with me because this was something coming from the entire board. Jack, could I ask you to stand? In recognition of his distinguished and effective service as president of A.T. Still University, the Board of Trustees has appointed Dr. Jack Magruder President Emeritus, with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto, presented with sincere appreciation by the Board of Trustees this 29th day of June, 2012. Now I'll ask Sue to stand. In recognition of her distinguished and effective service to A.T. Still University, the Board of Trustees has appointed Sue Magruder First Lady Emerita. Thank you, Sue.
This thing won't turk low enough. I have to just take it off. You know, there's been a lot said about a lot of things about, oh my, you had such a sacrifice and all this kind of thing. And I'd just like to set the record straight. We have had a wonderful career in Kirksville, at Truman, at ATSU, and there have been so many good times, so many good things to do, so many good people. And when the crisis in ATSU happened, people in Kirksville kind of had some insight on that, so it wasn't too much of a surprise. But asking Jack on the spur of the moment to take that position was a surprise. And when I was asked about it, you know, this is my home and will be. And all I had to do was think, this man that I had been married to for quite a while had the wisdom and he had the knowledge and he had the skills to do what needed to be done. And the only thing I had to do in order to agree with that was to think, what will that do for the community where I make my home? Well, that's a no-brainer. It was a good thing. And it turned out to be a really good thing. And I just want to thank the people of Kirksville. Time after time after time, you have come through in so many ways and have shown what a fabulous community this is to live in, to work in, to rear a family, and to welcome the family and the grandchildren home. And I look forward to the next several days when we'll have this family reunion and we'll have time to sit on the front porch and tell stories and reminisce. Thank you so much for all you've done.
I'm going to have, I hope, a little bit of time at the end of this, but I have to speak now to this wonderful board. Hang on, folks. The counsel they've given me constantly, the love and support they've given me, the encouragement they've given me is almost a miracle. And I know a lot of people here think I've done a lot, but I can tell you without this board and the support and constant counsel that they've given me, nothing else would have happened. And I even thank John Bleakley over there for getting Dorothy Munch on the Truman board. And now she shows up on my board, which is wonderful. She also was a chemistry student of mine about 10 years ago. Anyway, this has been a fantastic board. I just want to also mention, Kirksville is pretty happy. They're a very happy group for good reason. I want to tell you there's only 4 members of our board from Missouri, about 11 from out of state. This group decided to put a dental school in Kirksville, Missouri, rather than some state out there, Schwarzenegger or something, I think. or Orlando. I mean, they did it. And we can be grateful to them for hundreds of years. Thank you, board. You're marvelous. I appreciate every moment.
Thank you. Well said. He's not kidding either. You know, I worked for him as the Vice President for Strategic Initiatives, and one of mine was to work with these different cities and the way that they helped welcome ATSU and eventually putting the school here. But I did go to Governor Schwarzenegger's office and met with their group and left with a letter from Arnold and immediately faxed that over to Dr. Magruder so he knew what I was up to. And it wasn't that long that Governor Nixon actually, I think, did one better, made an appearance and written a letter and came down. So that was quite interesting. In today's newspaper, there is I think Our View, kind of like an editorial that talks about Dr. Jack Magruder. If you haven't had a chance to read that, I encourage you to do so. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I'm going to read the last paragraph. Dr. Magruder has been a leader in local education for decades, formerly the president at Truman State University and a faculty member before that. He's worked his entire life helping to shape minds to educate the leaders of tomorrow. There is no fitting tribute for a man who has given so much. All we can do is to be certain to say 2 words as he ventures into retirement. Thank you, Dr. Magruder. Thank you. I think that's about 5 words, but you get the point. Thank you, Dr. Magruder. Thank you. And just arrived from Senator Brian Munzlinger. Is that correct? Fantastic. Missouri State Senator is going to make a presentation. So, wow, what an honor for you to take time to come up here. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
It is a great pleasure for me to be here today. I left home Monday morning and I've been on the road. And Jack, I was in Sedalia this morning. I was trying to check on you and see how you were doing down there. I just did an interview with Director Hagler. That's probably one of the reasons I was a little late. But actually the interview we did was promoting our county fairs, the Nemo Fair, and our state fair. You know, and you get a golf cart when you're down there, but I think we might have to, park that and let you ride your mule around the fairgrounds. No, Jack, it's been a great pleasure to know you, to work with you, and I am definitely very proud that you are representing Northeast Missouri on the State Fair Commission, and I know you do a great job. We have a resolution here. It says, whereas Dr. Jack Magruder of Kirksville, Missouri has attained considerable distinction as the president of A.T. Still University of Health Sciences, a vocational and leadership calling that he will draw to a close on June 30th, 2012. In well-deserved retirement after 4 years of service, whereas the former president of Truman State University, Dr. Jack Magruder, has been in the field of education for more than 50 years at both the secondary school and the university levels of service. And whereas during his long and distinguished career, Dr. Jack Magruder has received such honors and accolades as the Administration Achievement Award from the University of Northern Colorado, honorary membership in Phi Beta Kappa, and honorary doctorate in humane letters from the Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine, and election to the Missouri Academy of Squires. And whereas Dr. Jack Magruder has proven down through the years to be an invaluable leader with the Council for Public Higher Education, the Council of Public Liberal Arts Colleges, Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority, Missouri Coordinating Board for Higher Education, and Higher Learning Commission of the North Central Association, among others. And whereas instrumental in establishing the ATSU Missouri School of Dentistry, I was here for that groundbreaking. It was a great day, and I can't wait till we get some students coming out of there to help our rural areas. Dr. Jack Magruder additionally has served on the Kirksville R3 School Board as chair of the Missouri State Fair Foundation Board, as chair of the MoDOT Blue Ribbon Panel for Accountability, Credibility, and Efficiency, and as a member of the Missouri State Fair Commission, Missouri United Methodist Foundation Board of Directors, and the Community Advisory Committee of the Missouri Foundation for Health. And whereas Dr. Jack Magruder is justifiably proud also to be known as the beloved spouse of Sue Magruder, and the loving father of Laura Mann, Julie Lockbaum, and Carrie Magruder. Now, therefore, it be resolved that we, the members of the Missouri Senate, the 96th General Assembly, join to applaud the personal and professional accomplishments garnered thus far in the life of Dr. Jack Magruder, and to convey him this legislative body's most heartfelt wishes as he partakes in the special opportunities and pleasures traditionally associated with the golden years of retirement. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of the Senate be instructed to prepare and properly inscribe a copy of this resolution for presentation to Dr. Jack Magruder of Kirksville, Missouri. You know, I'm a farmer first and a legislator second, I think I'd say, because I love to farm. I like to get my hands dirty and work and watch things grow. And I think that's what Jack has done for the Kirksville area, Jack and Sue. They have worked, they've planted seeds, they've fertilized it, and now they're watching it grow. And I just want to congratulate both of you. It's a great honor for me to be here today. Thank you.
I'd like all those that are involved in public service to please raise your hand. I know we have some people from the Commerce area and the city of Kirksville. If you're in public service, please raise your hand for the city or for the state or for the county. Thank you very much. Yay. And then any active military or veterans, please raise your hand. Veterans, thank you for your service. And any active military, thank you. Don't worry, it's not another proclamation. The tradition at A.T. Still University is, as you move into retirement, is to create a caricature of you. Jason Haxton. Jason, are you out there? I understand that you're now the person that gets to make these, and there was a wonderful artist who did them for many, many, many years. And if you, Bob May, right? And if you go visit any of our retired faculty administrators, it's really an honor to have one of these caricatures. We'll have it up here, and it shows them writing, I think, Governor, right? Dr. Sue Magruder, through the pastures, through the green pastures of the future. So we have the original. This is a little larger print, so I want to present that to you, and we'll have that afterwards, too. So. Very good. Okay, so this is the transportation you often see Jack and Sue driving around town in. This is what they're going to be going into next. Now, I'm not kidding you. This is like the most well-deserved vacation home that anyone could ever have, and so we congratulate you on this. I think I'm going to tell this story now. They are so gracious that they are living in this currently as their family stays in the house. Now, you may not know it, but it's filled with large screen TVs and butlers and whatnot in there, but this is where they're going to be spending, I think, a few weeks at least on the road, going to New England and doing some fun things. So when you see this around town, or if you see it on the highway, give a friendly wave. We'd like to show a little clip of how things might be. Many of you may remember this clip from a movie here.
Don't buy a trailer. I'm telling you, don't buy a trailer.
Everything is included. Chairs, sofa, bed, stove, refrigerator, shower bath, everything. Isn't it lovely? Oh! Let's get it, Nikki, please.
Trailer is yours.
Oh, Nikki.
You see what I mean? That's all we've been doing since we bought that thing. Fighting. Look at you. You can't walk. You're bruised from head to foot.
That wasn't the trailer's fault. They won't let you put any living thing back there, not a cat or a dog, much less your wife.
Going
So they have a few additional parting gifts. There's a little plaque up here talking about his dedication and thank you to from AT Still University to Jack and Sue. We have this is in the mail. I think it may have arrived. The contraption, if you can put that together. Did you get it? All right. It looks like a cross between something you put orthopedic fractures in and might relax in. So, Sue, you may have to come out and rescue him from that. And then we also presented to Sue the full DVD of Ricky and Lucy and having that great trip. So as you heard, the call came. He went out, he called to Sue, said, what do you think about this? And, we can only imagine what that conversation was like on the other end of the phone. So, Sue, I didn't know if you wanted to say any more words, and if not, okay, good. But thank you so much for everything. Dr. Magruder, if you want to come up for some parting words and a farewell message, then afterwards the music will come up a little bit. Please stay around. We have lots of food. Spend some time with Jack and Sue. Get to know some of their family members. Visit together and celebrate this great career.
Thank you. I want to apologize to the folks who were in line over here when Sue and I were called out for the interview because you waited a while and I saw you out there and I went off and left you and it just made me ill. So I apologize if you're in that line. Sue and I are going to be around for a while afterwards. I hope you get plenty to eat. I want to start with, first of all, again, thanking my board, Dr. Evans and those board members, and I appreciate what they did today more than you can imagine. That was one sweet surprise. I had no idea. My staff has really been closed mouth on so much. They said, just show up here. I didn't have anything to do with this today. But the reason I'm so pleased about that, and incidentally, they put these here for a purpose. I'm trying not to use them. I was named, Dorothy Munch was in on this. She was named First Lady Emeritus at Truman when I retired. I was the 13th president, which is a real good number. She was the first person with that title. So you had 13 presidents, one First Lady Emeritus. And now you have done it again. More wisdom. Thank you. But the reason I'm so proud of that is that, to me, that joins Truman and A.T. Still in a way that's never been done before. And we can celebrate together the lifeblood of this community when you look at these two institutions. And that's a connection I think is going to pay off for a long time. When I'm introduced, both those institutions are going to be named and that word will be used. And I am so grateful for that. I'm grateful for myself. It's a tremendous honor. But I'm liking what I think it says concerning these two great institutions. And so, thank you, thank you. Now, Dr. Phelps, where are you? The board told Dr. Phelps about February 4 and me, they said I was to mentor him for a few months, and they said, you're to listen. And I thought, wow, that's the first time I ever heard anything like that. And Craig and I, not because we were told to, but we've been on the phone so often, we visited so much, we read books together and talked about it, and I think he's had, and we've had, the best launching of a presidency I have ever seen anywhere. So I'm confident you're going to love this guy. What you got to do, though, is give him the same love and support that you've given me. And this university will flourish. And Stacy, hold up your hand. This is a young lady from Arizona, and she's going to spend a lot of time in Kirksville. And I'm not going to talk about the way you got here. She's got a story, but I'm not going to tell it about how she got here. Is Zach here? You tell Zach we said hello and welcomed him. Now, this has been a blessing for Sue and me. And the reason it's been a blessing is this university is in the business of trying to create, educate, train, send forth graduates in all areas of healthcare. They're healthcare professionals. But the graduates out of here are taught to be and encouraged to be compassionate healthcare professionals. And our faculty have done that marvelously, done it marvelously. And our students go forth. And it gives me meaning. It gives everybody associated with this whole institution real meaning in your life. Because those youngsters go forth for a career where they are caring for people, doing it in a competent way with great compassion. They're reducing pain and suffering throughout the world. and they came from Kirksville, Missouri, and Mesa, Arizona. That was a little later, about 90 years later. But Kirksville, Missouri is a place where you sent forth people, starting with A.T. Still, to do things that make the world a better place. Now there's 77 or 78,000 osteopaths in the country, about 7,800 of them from KCOM, 28 to 30 colleges of osteopathic medicine, all of which have their roots right here in Kirksville, Missouri. Now, folks, that is almost a miracle. Now, I've been around for a long time. I even remember when Larry Gardner was a high school kid. And there's some of those people out there that I met today that I was in the 3rd grade with at Greenwood. Hold up your hand if you're a couple of those. Okay. All right. And then there's some old guys out there from Herdland, Missouri that I taught in 1956, 57. Now, I don't know how they got so old. Where are you guys? Right back there. 1956, 57. Herdland, Missouri. Thank you, thank you. And then all of you, I honor every student and every faculty member we've got. They work together in a magnificent way, and they do it most beautifully when us administrators stay out of their way. And these people have done a marvelous work, and people think I've done a good job here. And I can tell you folks, none of that would have happened that I get credit for without the staff, the teachers, faculty, the custodians and maintenance people that take care of things. We all had a role, we all have a role, and that role is different for every one of us. And every role is necessary to be played if we're effective. And folks, this university is effective. And it's because of all the help out there that people doing their job appropriately, helping each other and building teams. And it's going to flourish for a long time. And so you've said I'm a great person today, but I want you to know the people that do the work are the ones that are great people. And they've helped make me look good. And it's hard to do, but they've done it. And I want to thank every one of those persons in every way. Now, I'd like to start calling names, but my problem is I think I could call every name out there and we'd be here till 7 o'clock. So I want to thank you for today. I want to thank you for the blessings you've given Sue and me, all our lives in this community. And at Truman, 39 years there, and these wonderful, wonderful 4.5 years at AT Still. And it's the mission that I think counts. And we've got a super mission, and I'm going to go back to AT Still because I think he said it just as well as what we've said in our mission statements. It's the same thing. But this community, if you recall, helped him in 1894. They got together and they gave him $2,600 at a city council meeting in May 1894. They kept this university alive. He was about ready to close, and he built what he called an infirmary to help the patients stay when they came to be treated here. But toward the end of his life, he said some things that I appreciated, and I read a biography for some reason when I took this job. And there a couple of lines came out of the page, and it said, and this is A.T. Still saying it, all I wanted to do was to extend the touch of the soft hand of human kindness to those in need. And folks, that's what everybody associated with this university is doing by doing their job. And I've been blessed, and Sue's been blessed as a result of this relationship. So thank you, and God bless you. Godspeed. We're so indebted. Thank you.